संकीर्तन की जय। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। 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 Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, chapter 1st, shloka 1st. Canto is named as The Science of God and chapter is entitled as The Supreme Lord is Equal to Everyone. श्रीराज उवाच समः प्रिय सुहृदं ब्रह्मन् भूतानां भगवान् स्वयं इंद्रस्यार्थे कथं दैत्यान् अवधीद विषमो यथा। श्रीराज उवाच समः प्रिय सुहृद ब्रह्मन् भूतानां भगवान् स्वयं इंद्रस्यार्थे कथं दैत्यान् अवधीद विषमो यथा। श्री लॉर्ड Surad, friend, Brahman, O Brahmana, addressing to Shukadev Goswami, Bhutanam, towards all living entities, Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord, Vishnu, himself, Indra, Arthe, for the benefit, Katham, how, Daityan, the demon, Avadhita, killed, Vishama, partial, Yatha, as if. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. King Parikshit inquired, my dear Brahmana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, being everyone's well-wisher, is equal and extremely dear to everyone. How then did he become partial like a common man for the sake of Indra and thus kill Indra's enemy? How can a person equal to everyone be partial to some and inimical towards others? Purport. In Bhagavad Gita 9.29, the Lord says, Samoham sarvabhuteshu name dveshosti na priyaha. I am equal to everyone. No one is dear to me, nor is anyone my enemy. In the previous canto, that is 6th canto, however, it has been observed that the Lord sided with Indra by killing the demons on his account. Hataputra Diti Shakra Parshani Grahena Vishnuna. Therefore, the Lord was clearly partial to Indra, although he is the super soul in everyone's heart. The soul is extremely dear to everyone, And similarly, the super soul is also dear to everyone. Thus, there cannot be any faulty action on the part of the super soul. The Lord is always kind to all living entities, irrespective of form and situation. Yet, he took the side of Indra just like an ordinary friend. This was the subject of Parikshit Maharaj's inquiry. As devotee of Lord Krishna, he knew very well that Krishna cannot be partial to anyone. But when he saw that Krishna acted as the enemy of the demons, he was somewhat doubtful. Therefore, he posed this question to Shukadeva Goswami for a clear answer. A devotee cannot accept that Lord Vishnu has material qualifications. Maharaj Parikshit knew perfectly well that Lord Vishnu, being transcendental, has nothing to do with material qualities. But to confirm his conviction, he wanted to hear from the authority of Shukadeva Goswami. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Samasya Katham Vaishamyam. Since the Lord is equally disposed to everyone, how can he be partial? Priyasya Katham Asureshu Priti Abhava. The Lord, being the super soul, is extremely dear to everyone. Why then should the Lord display unsympathetic behavior towards the Asura? How is this impartial? Surudascha katham tesham asurudam asauhardam. Surudascha katham tesham asauhardam. Since the Lord says that he is Surudam Sarvabhutanam, Bhagavad Gita 5.29. Bhoktaram yajya tapasa sarvaloka maheshwarah surudam sarvabhutanam gyatva mam shantim vrachati. He is Suruda Sarvabhutanam, the well-wisher of all living entities. How could he act with the partiality by killing demons? These questions arose in the heart of Parikshit Maharaj, and therefore he inquired from Shukadeva Goswami. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuktapadamadanam Sri Guru Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Svagana Raghunathanivitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanitam Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshakarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubheva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna. welcome everyone to this Saturday Srimad Bhagavad Gita class. We are discussing on chapter first of 7th canto. 7th canto is very well known for the wonderful description of appearance of Lord Narasimhadev and his great exalted devotee Maharaj Prahlad and slaying of demon Hiranyakashipu. This canto has been named as the science of God. This canto consists 15 chapters. First one is entitled as Lord is equal to everyone. The quality of Lord is being described. And last 5 chapters describes about the instructions, like 11th chapter is entitled as Perfect Society for social classes, and 12th chapter describes about 4 spiritual classes, that is Varna and Ashram. So Varnashram system has been described. And 13th chapter, behavior of perfect person. 14th chapter, ideal family life. And 15th is instructions for civilized human beings. And that's why this entire canto is named as Science of God. So before discussing about this canto and this chapter, first chapter in it, I would like to briefly touch upon the description given in 6th canto. Why Parikshit Maharaj's inquiry that why Lord is impartial, although he is impartial, why he took side of Indra and killed the demons. So what happens is, in 6th canto it has been described that Diti, the mother of Daitya word comes from Diti, sons of Diti. So Diti becomes very much angry when Lord Vishnu kills Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. And because of that, she wants to take revenge. She wants to avenge the death of her children. So she approaches Kashyapa Muni, her husband, for the guidance. Right? But she doesn't directly approach him about that she wants the son which can kill Indra. So she faithfully serves Kashyapa Muni, and seeing her service attitude, Kashyapa Muni becomes very pleased, and he asks her that what she wants, and then she desires to have a son. Understanding the intention behind having a son, Kashyapa Muni doesn't directly discourages Diti not to have enmity towards Indra and not to demand about the son which can kill Indra. So what he indirectly instructs, she should perform a vrata, and that vrata is named as Pumsavana Vrata, and that this Vrata has to be performed almost for an year. One full complete year she has to perform this Vrata. And this Vrata is directly in relation with worshipping Lord Vishnu with various paraphernalia, purifying ourselves and daily worshipping Lord Vishnu with various paraphernalia. And because of doing so, she had a faith. Diti had a faith on Kashyap Muni, and when Kashyap Muni proposes this vrata, she with very much interest and faithful, having full faith in her husband's instruction, she starts following this vrata for one full complete year. And because it's about worshipping Lord Krishna, about remembering Lord Krishna, her heart gets transformed. She has a change of heart. But Indra also knew about this fact that Diti had this intention of having a son which can kill him. So he observes Diti's behavior and tries to find the fault in Diti's behavior, and so that he gets an opportunity to kill her son in womb only. And this is the first abortion he tries to perform by entering in Diti's womb. And one fine day he gets that opportunity. But instead of this embryo, he stuck this embryo, but instead of getting it destroyed, it gets distributed in various parts. First it gets distributed in 7 parts, and then again Indra strikes this 7 part, it again gets distributed in again 7 parts. So this is like almost 49 parts. And all has life. So, and since she is worshipping Lord Krishna, so Diti, although gets disturbed, still she doesn't have that enmity. And in the end, both Indra realizes his mistake and even Diti realizes her mistake, that she should not have desired like that. And Indra, all these 49 Maruts becomes Indra's assistants. They get a status of demigod. So although born out of Diti's womb, these Daityas becomes demigods because of performance of this Pumsavana Vrata and attitude of Diti. Lord Krishna blesses them. Lord Krishna blesses both Indra and Diti. So Diti initially had this enmity towards Lord Vishnu. So we hear about how Lord Krishna takes the side of Indra and kills the demon. And hearing this, Parikshit Maharaj gets little bit doubtful. At one point, it has been said that Lord is equal to everyone. He is impartial. He never discriminates between enemy and friend. And it's true. Then how come he kills Daitya and he protects demigods? How come he kills demon and protects the demigod? So, Parikshit Maharaj poses an inquiry. Here we can see that to inquire is not bad. To put a question in humble manner is not bad. Sometimes we may think that just we have to hear, although we cannot understand. Why to pose a question? Why to show our lack of knowledge? So in that, we never try to inquire. We just become a little lazy to get our query solved. But herein, Parikshit Maharaj inquires. So questions are welcome. If questions are in good spirit, they are always welcomed by the knowledgeable person. Herein, Shukadeva Goswami praises Parikshit Maharaj about his inquiry. And why Parikshit Maharaj raised this question? There are two things. One is to know. Sometimes we pose questions to know. We are unaware of certain thing, unaware of knowledge. So we want to gain knowledge, so we pose question. And second, we raise question for reconfirmation. We want to reconfirm. Whatever I have heard previously, is it true? Is it correct? Is it according to Shastra? For that we pose question. So question generally for to know, to get knowledge and to reconfirm the knowledge which we have gotten. So herein, before starting of this chapter, one synopsis is given. So we will read that one. From that also we can take some lessons. In this chapter, in response to a question by Maharaj Parikshit, Shukadeva Goswami gives his conclusions concerning how the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although the Super Soul, friend and protector of everyone, killed the Daityas, the demons, for the sake of Indra, the king of heaven. In his statement, he totally refutes the arguments of people in general who accuse the Supreme Lord of partiality. Generally, people have a lot of questions about Mahabharata. Why Krishna guided Arjuna to kill Karna, although Karna doesn't having any arms with him. कुछ शस्त्र अस्त्र नहीं थे. No weapons were there that time when Arjuna attacked Karna. So these kind of questions, these kind of arguments are put forth by people in general. They accuse Lord Krishna of partiality, that he just protects devotees, not non-devotees. Although he says that he is a Surya, he is protector of everyone, but he never protects one who doesn't follow him, doesn't accept him. Shukadeva Goswami proves that because the body of conditioned soul is infected by three qualities of nature, that is Sattva, Raja and Tama. Dualities arise such as enmity and friendship. So, dualities, good and bad, enemy and friend, attachment and detachment, these are dualities. And these dualities are arisen from the interaction of modes of material nature, qualities of nature. For the Supreme Personality of Godhead, He is always above the material nature. That's why qualities of this material nature doesn't affect Him. However, there are no such dualities in Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is absolute. There is no duality. Even eternal time cannot control the activities of the Lord. Here in this material world, we find that everything is controlled by time factor. Kalosmi lokakshaya pravruddho. Everything, as time progresses, everything dwindles down. Whether it is living entity or non-living entity. Living entity may have 6 changes: birth, growth, staying at that platform for some time, then creating byproducts, again dwindling and death. And non-living entity, creation, staying for some time and death, dwindling and death. So everything is up. As time progresses, everything gets destroyed. We are seeing this. So everything is under control of time factor. But herein it is stated that Lord Krishna is above this time factor. In fact, Lord Krishna controls this time factor. He is the controller of everyone. Eternal time is created by the Lord and it acts under His control. The Supreme Personality of Godhead therefore is always transcendental to the influence of modes of nature. And because He is transcendental to the influence of modes of nature, how can these modes of material nature act upon Him? And that's why the dualities arisen from these modes of nature: partiality, impartiality, good, bad, attachment, detachment. This doesn't affect Lord Himself. He is all good. His every action is beneficial to everyone. Thus, all the demons killed by the Supreme Lord attain salvation immediately. So although killed by the Lord, they get the highest benefit. They get the benefit of liberation. Second question raised by Parikshit Maharaj concerns how Shishupal, although inimical toward Krishna from his very childhood, this also describes about Lord Krishna's impartiality. The second question raised by Parikshit Maharaj concerns how Shishupal, who is inimical towards Lord Krishna from his very childhood, always blaspheming Krishna, attained salvation in oneness when Krishna killed. Shukadeva Goswami explains that because of their offences at the feet of devotee, 2 attendants of Lord Krishna in Vaikuntha named Jai and Vijay became Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha in Satya Yuga, Ravan and Kumbhakarna in next Yuga, that is Treta Yuga, Shishupal and Dantavakra in the end of Dwapar Yuga. And because of their fruitive acts, Jai and Vijay agreed to become the Lord's enemies and when killed in their mentality, they attain the salvation in oneness. Thus, even if one thinks of Supreme Personality of Godhead in envy, he attains the salvation. So this also answers about Lord Krishna's impartiality. That even if one thinks of the Lord's Supreme Personality of Godhead in form of envy, in enviousness, he thinks he is my enemy. Still, when Lord Krishna kills that person, he attains the salvation. What then is to be said of devotees? Those who are enemies, they get salvation. And what then about devotees? They should definitely, who are always engaged, who always engage themselves in Lord's service, so definitely they are assured of the highest destination, and that is Lord Krishna's association, constant association. So here in purport we have raised up Jai Sri Sri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Mai ki Jai. Soul is extremely dear to everyone, and similarly the super soul is also dear to everyone. So because of the presence of soul, this body has some value. This body is acting to fulfill the desires. So to keep this soul in this body, everyone endeavors. Everyone tries hard to keep this body and soul together. That's why soul is very much dear to everyone. No one desires to move away this soul from the body. So everyone wants this soul and body to stay together. And similarly about super soul, without the sanction of super soul, although having this body, soul cannot use this body to fulfill the selfish desires. So generally, why a person becomes partial? Why one takes side? So, in want of something, we segregate, we distinguish. Those who can help us, they become our friend. Those who disturb us, they become our enemy. Those who trouble us, those who plot against us, they become our enemy. So in want of something, desire of something, we mix enemy and friend. So sometimes this want is in form of objects, sometimes this want is in form of favor, sometimes this want is in form of recognition. So those who doesn't give value to us, doesn't praise us, they become our enemy. Doesn't recognize our contribution, we envy them. And those who appreciate our contribution, we become good to them. So sometimes out of fear of losing something, we become partial. Sometimes we become angry, and in that anger, we, those who, with whom we are angry at, we becomes inimical towards them. So, is it because of this Lord Krishna is partial? Does Lord Krishna want something from us? Does Krishna lack something? So no, Krishna is complete. Purnasya Purnam Adaya. He is Purna, he is complete. He is not in hankering of anything. He is not lacking in something, that this thing is lacking in him, and that's why he wants, and that's why he acts as partial. He wants Amrita, that's why he killed demons. No, Krishna is not in requirement of Amrit. And he is not fearful of anyone. In fact, everyone fears him. In form of time, he destroys everyone, everything. And in form of Yamraj, he punishes those who do not follow the rules. So, and he is not fear of losing something, and he is not angry upon someone. So, Krishna is not in need of something, so he cannot be partial. So, Krishna is equal to everyone, because he is absolute. Whatever he performs is good for the living entity. Although he kills, his killing is not an ordinary killing. His killing is ultimately in the benefit of that personality, of that living entity. Our killing is simply for the sense gratification of ourselves. And that's why we should not become God. We should not pose ourselves as God and decide the fate of others. So, Krishna is all good. Even if he kills, it is for the benefit of that personality. And Krishna has this quality that he always acts in benefit of everyone. And we can see that although people doesn't accept his existence, like they say Lord doesn't exist, there is no God. People are atheistic in nature, still they get water, they get air, all essential elements to maintain body. It doesn't happen that, okay, you are not accepting me as your superior, as God, then I will not provide air to breathe. I will not provide water to drink. I will not provide things to eat, place to sleep. No. One may argue that these things are commonly available in nature. So who controls the nature? Lord Krishna himself controls the nature. Mayadhyakshana prakriti suyate sa charasharam. So Lord Krishna is true friend of everyone. And that's why, because of this compassion, because of his Suhruda nature, he always accompanies the soul in form of super soul. In form of super soul, Lord Krishna always guides the soul to the proper destination. Whether that soul takes the body of worm in a stool or body of Indra, Lord Krishna always accompanies that soul as a super soul. And this is a sign of his impartiality. So we will stop here. So we will briefly summarize what we have discussed. So first of all, we have discussed about inquiry is welcomed, and what is the general purpose of inquiry? To know and to reconfirm. Second, we have said the presence of soul and super soul makes this body attractive, and simultaneously to keep body and soul together, everyone endeavors. So soul is very much dear to everyone. And similarly, super soul is very much dear because he is the Anumanta, he is the sanctioner. Because of without his sanction, we cannot utilize this body. And dualities exist for the conditioned soul, and Lord is not conditioned. So he is always, this is the third point here. The Lord is not conditioned. He is above this conditioned nature. He is above this material nature. That's why his actions are absolute. His actions are without dualities. And he is not in a need of something. He is not fearful of anything. He is not angry at anyone. And that's why, since he is not in a need of anything, he is not lacking in something, so he doesn't need any favor, he doesn't need any recognition, and that's why he doesn't take side. He is not in need of taking side. Generally we take side because we need something, we need recognition, we need appreciation, we need favors to fulfill our selfish desire. And that's why when devotee fully surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they also comes out of modes of material nature. Their actions also are above these modes of material nature. And that's why devotees, fully surrendered devotee, liberated soul is also above the modes of nature, and that's why he is also impartial. He doesn't discriminate. Fully surrendered devotee also doesn't discriminate between enemies and friends. One who gives favor, because he doesn't need any favor. Because this is a quality of Lord Krishna. And that's why this quality also manifests in his fully surrendered devotee. So this chapter, this canto describes this very nicely. Maharaj Prahlad is such a kind devotee. he doesn't discriminate. In fact, his father and his teacher try to teach him about discrimination. Who is your friend? Who is your enemy? What is good? What is bad? But Prahlad Maharaj never takes interest in it. He doesn't discriminate. Because he is a fully surrendered devotee. He always remembers Krishna. And that's why he is impartial. His impartiality is manifested in such a form that he advises Hiranyakashipu, his father, who wants to kill him, who is great enemy of Lord Vishnu. He advises him to follow the path of devotion to Lord Vishnu. He never fears. Whole universe is fearful of Hiranyakashipu, and his small child is not fearful of him, and he is telling him that you should practice the path of devotion to Lord Vishnu. And he advises in same manner to his other colleagues, other small children who are with him in Gurukul. He advises them also about follow the path of devotion to Lord Vishnu. So he is impartial. So now in few days, Narsimha Chaturdashi, the beautiful appearance of Lord Narsimha to protect his devotee Prahlad Maharaj takes place. We are going to celebrate. We will be celebrating this festival on 25th of this month according to the Tithi, and we will discuss till that time about Lord Narasimha Dev and Maharaj Prahlad and his devotion towards Lord Vishnu. Hare Krishna. We will stop here. Dhanyavad. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।